Beaumont. We're in the Nursery in suburban Adelaide. This is a purpose-built facility to grow up to about 12,000 tube stock for various BioR projects. BioR uses in most years at least 30,000, and we're hoping to scale up to greater numbers of tube stock. And sometimes it's hard to get particular species from other growers, and also some years it's hard to produce enough tube stock of certain species. So we're trying to diversify our plantings but also grow difficult to propagate species here which aren't available from some growers or aren't available in the numbers that we need them. So BioR aims to try and grow a diversity of species in their plantings. We're hoping to have 100 plus species, and that's fairly atypical for most revegetation, which often only has 10 or 20 species. So we're looking to produce lots of different types of plants. So these plants you see behind me are for two purposes. One is for general plantings at Frahns Farm, and the other is for a seed orchard, which eventually will have 30,000 plants in there, and then the seed can be harvested in large quantities for our projects and also for other people's projects. Because we don't know a lot about revegetation yet, and because we're a research-based activity, we're actually monitoring what happens to our reveg once it goes in the ground. We don't really know exactly what species are important for what fauna necessarily. For some species we do, especially some birds, but for other species we really don't know. So having a high diversity covers off on a greater range of species. It's been a little bit hard this year because I've been learning what to do, but there is certainly some very good horticulturists who've been helping me this year. I've had no trouble really with the easy to grow species like eucalypts, Alocasuarina, she oaks. Native grasses have been, on the whole, very successful. Native grasses are particularly important because they provide seed for a range of bird species, particularly diamond firetails and some of the parrot species. The glasshouse is going to be used for a number of reasons. One will be for trying to propagate the difficult to grow species, so some of them might require heat. It's also been helpful this year because some of the plants weren't quite big enough to put out in winter. So with the scaling up of our plantings out at Frahns Farm over the next few years, we will require a lot more of those difficult to grow plant species, which the nursery can provide. And with the scaling up, we also obviously need a lot more community support in all facets of our activities, including helping in the nursery here, but also planting out at Frahns Farm,